Hello and welcome back to Defy Aging. And this is week 24, and I'm your coach, Allison, to run through everything with you once again. So this week we have one circuit on the turf, and it's going to be everything's kind of bigger. It's a longer circuit and a longer time. So there's 8 stations, which we have done before, but normally it's more like 5 to 7. So 8 stations, and they're going to be a little bit longer time. We're going to do 50 seconds on, 50. 45 seconds off. That's going to be round 1. And then round 2, to double check that, it's going to be 40 seconds on, 35 seconds off. So still kind of on the longer side, but a little bit shorter than round 1. So it is only 2 rounds. So yeah, that's just a little bit different. And then of course a team builder at the end. And I think there's a couple of new moves this week. I know there's at least one. I think there's 2. But anyways, let's do some demonstrations. Okay, so the first station is a seated mini band side step or step out, I think I called it. Same thing. And that's what this is. I love when we have mini bands, I try to make sure to have a longer rest time because I know they're a little cumbersome to take, put on and take off. So luckily we have the longer rest times this week. So anyways, I think I'm a little too close. So the mini band is going to be right below the knees for this, and we are going to be seated. So see how it's right below my knee. And when you're seated, it's really important that you are right at the edge of whatever you're sitting on, benches, boxes, these kind of things, whatever you're using. So right at the edge. That is actually important for the functionality of this exercise. So we can't be like way back here like you would sit comfortably on a chair normally. So really close to the edge. And all we're doing for the first half of each set, I do want to do continually on one side as opposed to continuing to alternate. And that's just so we can fatigue one side at a time and not give it any rest. Okay, so anyways, but what we're going to do is really do a step out. So you lift your foot. Don't glide it on the floor. I know it's hard to tell that I am lifting it like a half an inch. And it's harder than it looks because what we want to make sure we're doing, and depending on the resistance level band, if you have a harder band, it's really important that you're not letting just your foot go out, but you're keeping your knee in. First of all, that throws things out of alignment, but second of all, it doesn't increase the work on your hip at all. So it's very important. I suggest doing this one in front of a mirror. So I'm going to have the coaches try to put this one in front of a mirror, that your knee is always staying on top of your foot. See how alignment, like my knee is always directly on top of my foot. Now I'll do one where it's not. Now my foot's going out farther than my knee, and it's kind of doing this angle. So that's what we don't want to do. Now, as your hip gets more tired, that's going to be harder to do. So it might start to look like this. It might start getting smaller. Keep trying to lead with the knee, and the knee goes out with the foot. I'm trying to say that in as many ways as I can so this doesn't start to happen. Okay. So anyway, halfway through the set, then you'll switch sides. So it is very similar to that step over we do where we step up and high over something, but now instead of going for height up and over, we're going for like resistance. Okay. All right. So that is that one. Try different resistance. We only have 2 rounds, but you want a firm band. This is a hip exercise. Hips are pretty strong. So try a firm resistance band. Let's give it a shot. Moving on, station 2 is some cardio already. We're going to do a medicine ball or slam ball. Slam to a toss. You're going to alternate between those 2 exercises with the ball. Can never get a good spot. Okay. It can take a little trial and error to get the spacing and everything down. So we do 1 slam and then 1 overhead toss. Slam, toss, slam, toss. Okay. Try not to have too much stopping and like repositioning the hands between each thing as little as you can. So we're not like catching it and like bringing it up, getting situated, then tossing, kind of bringing it down, and then just try to keep it flowing. Okay, as best you can. This is like I said, trial and error there. So it takes a while to get into the groove, but you have 50 seconds and then 40 seconds. Nice long sets to work on it. Next station is I shouldn't say just, but conceptually it's easy. It's a kneeling bicep curl. You're on both knees, tall kneeling position, okay? And then we toss in controlled, steady bicep curls. So make sure we're not doing any swinging like this. They're not too fast. Dead stop at the bottom, all the way up. Okay, basic curls. Don't lean back with your curls, anything like that. Don't shrug. If you're having to do shrugs like this, or the elbows are kind of flaring out like this, that means your weights that you've selected are too heavy. So go to the next weight down. If anyone is staying off the floor or staying off the knees, instead of going to a standing position, I'm actually going to have you switch to a seated curl. So hopefully we will have enough benches and stuff, boxes between the first seated exercise, and then if anyone needs it for this, we can always just grab chairs from the office too. But it can't have arms. It can't have a chair with arms. But you still sit really close to the edge because you need room for the weights to come all the way down without hitting, the box. And I'm going to have you do seated curls if anyone is not doing floor exercises. The reason that that's the alternative instead of simply standing is that is more core engagement than standing, because you have to keep yourself upright, and that's part of the purpose of this kneeling or seated version. So that's going to be your alternative if anyone is staying off the knees. Next station is going to be sort of an isometric, mainly for your quads right here, but it is some core too, and you'll feel some shoulder, so I guess it could be under the total body category, but I think you'll feel the most thigh quad. It's called the bear hold. So you're on your hands and your knees, okay? You want to curl your toes under like this, so they're not going to be relaxed like this. Hands are directly under shoulders, so make sure they're not too far forward or anything like that. Keep your neck neutral, so that means you should be looking straight down at the floor beneath you, but not underneath you, because then we're curling the neck. So what you do is, I don't know if you'll be able to see underneath my knees, but I'm going to lift my knees just about 1 inch off the floor. There you go. I don't know if you could even tell I lifted, but I did. There's a little bit of air between my knees and the floor. And you just hold it here. The closer to the floor you hold the knees, the harder it is. So if I were to come up like this is making it easier. It's disengaging the muscles we want, and it's not doing the exercise exactly correctly. So we want the knees low, as close to the floor as possible, not touching. So again, about 1 inch off the floor like this. Like if you could see, there is some air here. And we hold it. Now anyone staying, again, off the floor, we could do a wall sit, but I decided to take it a modified version to an isometric squat, because I do want the some upper body component in here as well. And a wall sit gives you no upper body component. An isometric squat, you do still have to engage like your back a little, and definitely your core to keep upright. So you go into the down part of a squat and you hold still. That's going to be your modification for anyone staying off the floor. No hands on the knees for cheating, for helping. And make sure you don't come down too low like this. This isn't an isometric squat. This is really just bending down. So chest up, just like you were at the bottom of a squat. All right, that's our bear hold isometric squat for an alternative. Next one, we got some agility ladder. We're going to do a zigzag pattern. So it's a fast feet agility drill. It'll be a little bit of cardio as well, but no jumping. Okay, so we start on the side and we're going to go forward as we kind of do a zigzag pattern. The goal is to get both feet inside and then back out of each box as you move forward. So in, out, out, in, out, out, in, out, out, in, out, out. Okay, I know I'm losing out of frame, so I'll step back and do it again. And so again, as you go in and back out, you're traveling very subtly forward. In, out, out, in, out. And you get that moving as quickly as you can. That's the footwork and agility. Faster you go, the more cardio it'll be as well. Next station is going to be our main core focused one. We haven't done this one for a very long time. Heel touches. Okay, so you're going to be lying on the floor, knees bent, and scoot your heels in pretty close in towards your butt. You can rest your head down to start. However, your head's not going to be down for long. Your hands are at your side. You're going to tuck your chin into your chest. It's like I want you to pretend you're either tying your chin to your upper chest and or that you're trying to look at your belly button. Both of those things will help to tuck your chin in. You're going to have to lift your head, lift your shoulders off the floor, tuck that chin in, look at your belly button, and then we swivel or twist, whatever word connects better in your brain. Side to side, trying to reach for those heels, see? Side to side. But you don't come down between each rep. You stay up and you just go side to side. Now, this one, so it's constantly engaging the abs. This one does tire out the neck. It's very important that you do keep the chin tucked at all times. Now, if I was to untuck my chin and look straight up, that's going to make my neck tire out significantly faster. So that's why you keep your chin tucked. Now, if and when the neck gets a little too tired, go ahead and rest down for 2, 3, 4 seconds. Tuck that chin, pop back up, and then jump back into the set for the duration of the set. So take that rest when your neck maybe gets a little too tired, totally fine. But do keep that chin really tucked like this. Anyone staying off the floor, it's going to be a very different exercise. We're going to do an incline plank with a little bit of a twist, because that's still going to then target those oblique muscles. So you'll do the best angle here, an incline plank, and we're going to do a little bit of a hip twist, side to side. Slowly, not going for speed, just like you're trying to, now I'm angling this hip towards the floor, twisting, now I'm angling this hip towards the floor, and you keep rotating. The feet, when you do that, the feet do kind of start to crawl back away from you. So every 2 or 3 or 4 reps, you have to sort of walk your feet in a little bit. It's no big deal. It just kind of happens. So heel touches or an incline plank hip twist for an alternative. That's our core focus station. Next station, our back focus station, is going to be a dumbbell wide row. So there's almost endless varieties of rows. The wide is one of the more difficult ones. Normally we have arms neutral, and we do typical row. It is a narrow row with the palms neutral, like this. Okay. We're going to do the wide row. We have done it before. It's been a long time. Your palms are turned back now. And we don't just pull up like this, because that's still it causes the shoulders to shrug. We want to come out wide. So think of it like you want to flare your elbows out. Keep your back nice and flat. We're hinging at those hips. So it's very important we're not just slouching down like this, but instead pop the hips out, back flat, and hinge. And again, using a mirror for this one can be very helpful, because what we want, I can't keep my arms up, so I have to put them down. We want this 90-degree bend in the elbow and kind of a 90-degree bend in the armpit here. See that? That's what we're going for. So we're not going for a smaller than 90 degrees here. We're not going for like a kinked in look here. We're not going for shrugged shoulders. No, wide. They come out wide. This is why the mirrors are very helpful for this one. And a heads up, you'll have to go significantly lighter on this version of a row than a standard row. For example, like our 2-point row, this one, if you can maybe do this with like a 25 or a 30 for this exercise, you'll probably want to go to a 15 or a 12 or a 10 for the wide version. That's how much more difficult this version of a row is. Okay, take my word for it. All right, let's give the wide row a try this week. Final station, alternating thrusters. Okay, so dumbbells are up at the shoulders, palms turned in. They are not resting on the shoulders, but they're very close. We do a squat. And instead of pressing both arms up, we're only going to press one arm. And then the next rep, you're going to press the other arm. That's the alternating part. So squat down, press one arm, down, other arm. So it's very important when you're doing your squat that we don't let the weights fall down like this, because that's very, very common. And it takes a lot of core work, and it takes a lot of shoulders to keep them here. Right now, my abs and my shoulders want to let these weights do this, but keep them up here. And then it's a nice smooth move. You start to press as you come up. So there's no stopping. It's all kind of smooth and slow. See how I just let that glide right into the press? Okay. It's a little bit of a focus, mind one too, because you have to kind of remember which side you're on. So alternating thruster for our final station. Okay, and for our finisher, our team builder, it's not really a team builder because we're going to kind of be working independently, but as a group. So figure that out. It's going to be a single arm farmer's carry around the entire perimeter of your club. and then another lap around with the other arm. So you can use kettlebells or dumbbells, whatever is enough to go around or whatever weight's appropriate for you. We do farmer's carries quite often, so I'm sure you all know them. Single arm, however, so make sure with the single arm, I have a lightweight, I have a 10 pounder, but it was just here. So grab something heavy. You're not letting it pull you down like this, but you're also not overcompensating and shrugging like this. So you want to stay level, even though you have weight on one side. So it's a lot of core work here, a lot of oblique on the side with the weight. And yeah, shoulder is down and back. So posture, we're not allowing it to pull us forward. And keep the weight controlled so it's not flopping around like this. And yeah, again, around the entire perimeter of your gym. Might have to kind of go around some machines and get a little intricate with it. And then once you get back to the start, switch arms and do it again with the other side. So that's our finisher for the week. Okay, that is week 24. Hope you enjoy this workout. See you back next week for week 25.